What's going on, guys? Tokes here. Today I'm bringing you a video on how to install a high ram on a 6th gen Camaro. I want to make this video because there is literally nothing out there for this. There's a couple videos here and there of people putting them on, but not really showing them how to. I already did my install, as you can see right there. My setup's going to be a little different since I have a Pro Charger, but I still want to take you through how I did it and everything I did with it. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just gonna kind of go over the things where there's nothing explained about. All right, so first things first is in the back of the high ram, there are 3 holes and then a 4th hole for the map sensor. I will throw up a picture. I'll just pop random pictures up of like what I used and how it looked. And then also where to get this stuff. I'll include like the Home Depot, the Amazon. I'll include those links down in the description. And I'll just kind of show you. For mine, there's 2 that I believe are 1/8 to 3/8 for the vacuum lines. So here's one vacuum line right here. This is for my Pro Charger, but if you have a catch can, like if you have a Mighty Mouse catch can or a Mishimoto, this is the one you will use for the 3/8. The other 3/8 that I have is used for my evap solenoid. You do not need to use the evap solenoid. The only reason I have it hooked up is because the shop that I work with asked that I do that because I cannot turn it off because I have my E85 sensor wired into it. So they asked that I didn't turn it off so we could still use my car for E85. And then you're also going to have, it is a 3/8 on this side. There's the big hole. It's 3/8. And then you want 3/8 to 5/8. So they're little brass fittings and they're called like 3/8 NPT to 5/8 barb. 5/8 barb, you will run a line to your brake booster. Your brake booster comes out of down here, and we'll walk over here. I'll kind of show you. Your brake booster line is this thing that connects in the stock intake manifold. You're gonna pull that out and you'll just run a hose right on top of it and you'll just put a clamp on it and then you just clamp it down with like the typical steel hose line like these right here. You can see that. Use that. You want to make sure you don't tighten it down too much as it is plastic. It shouldn't pop off, just get it nice and snug. When you're doing the back of the high ram, putting in the brass fitting, some people said don't run brass. I did brass anyways. A lot of people said you can get it'll be completely fine if you use them. But one of the holes you might not need to use if you're like naturally aspirated, or if you're not running the evap thing, there's a little plugs that come with it. You just put the plug in and screw it all the way in. And also when you're doing the fittings, you don't need to screw them all the way in. Like half threads, like 3/4 threads is more than enough in. And I also use some yellow like plumber's tape to make sure we don't have any issues down the road. So as I said, I will just throw up the pictures throughout the video of what I used. And then next step is the hardest part, which is cutting it. So for what I did is I laid the high ram down first and I kind of marked how wide it was on this thing so I knew where to cut for the plastic part. And I highly recommend that you remove that plastic part. I didn't, and it made it a pain to cut the firewall underneath because that's what you're going to need to cut. So it's just these clips right here. There's clips all around, and then this thing will just come right out. And then you could just trim that up really easily with that off. That doesn't need to be trimmed up that much, but the firewall does. The firewall, we didn't do the best job of trimming it because I left that on. But it works and it fits everything in there. It took a few times just test fitting everything. So it's gonna be a lot of test fitting, but once you have that off, you can trim the firewall back and you set it down. I can't give you an exact like inches or whatever for how far back you need to cut, but that's what you need to do. And after you get that done, it should just fit right on. And then for mounting the bottom part right here, you need to set it on and then run these studs through. There's these little studs that mount it. And so what you do is you set the high ram down, put it over the holes where it's like lines up with, and then you put the stud through and screw it down. It's going to take a little bit of like kind of moving it a little bit to get it to go down perfectly, but they should go in smooth. And then after that, you just add the nut on top, and in your instructions that you get with it, there are torque specs for everything and the torque pattern to follow for it. I can also include those in the description, and I'll throw up like a torque sequence of it. And then for the lid, there's a gasket. They give you an O-ring type of ordeal that you cut and you will fit for it. It takes just kind of pushing it in, and then you super glue it where you cut it at so it fits perfect. And that's also these right here where it mates up down here, the intake ports. There's also rubber gaskets. They're kind of hard. You got to push them like all the way in, deep in, because it felt like they were too big at first. But you'll realize once you push them in, they'll go in. And another thing you also need to do is you need to extend the map sensor or the map sensor, whatever you have. So right here, mine has like the DSX stuff hooked up to it. So what you can do for that is you can extend the wire 6 inches, I believe is what we did. I just did it so it gave me more than enough room. Or if you want to make it easier, you could just buy the LT2 map extension that GPI sells. I didn't do that because 40 bucks is a little much. I just bought the wire. I believe it is 18 gauge or 16 gauge wire that you need. All you do, just make sure you match up the colors with what color goes where, and then extend it like that. And it was $10, saved me having to wait to do that. Last but not least, we got the throttle body right here where it meets up with the lid. So for the throttle body, we initially did not think it was going to fit. These clips were hitting back here. This will be different for every throttle body, I believe. I don't know. I'm running stock throttle body, so I don't know that stuff with like, I know the LT5 throttle body, I think needs an adapter plate for this. There's a gasket that comes with it if you have stock throttle body or like a ported stock throttle body. And all you do is you take, there's these little clips right here, and they're all around. We popped off the one here and the one there, and then the gasket in between gave us just enough room. I don't know if you could see how tight it is, but it gave us just enough room to clear it. It took a little bit of back and forth, like moving it around in order to get all the bolts in. But after that, it went on perfect. And that's basically about it for the high ram. Some people said you needed to install like an extension for the throttle body cable or plug right here. Mine reached perfectly fine. I had more than enough room for mine to fit right in. It's not like stretched or anything. So I don't know about that. Maybe some people might have that issue, but I did not. And lastly is for cutting the hood. So some people don't run hoods. I still wanted to run my stock hood because if I ever get caught in the rain or something. And there's, I believe, the VFN cowl hood fits the high ram. It's a certain one. I don't take my word for it, but I've heard people saying they can get that to work. And then there's the one for $1,600, the carbon fiber one, the Copo hood from Anderson Composites. I didn't want to spend that money, so I cut it. And let me wait for it to focus in here, but you could see my cut. So I used a template. There's two people that I know that sell templates. I'll throw up their Facebook profiles right here. I think they're like 30 bucks for the template. So what I did is I had the hood off the car. To take the hood off the car, there's just 2 bolts right here, right there underneath, and then the tower. There's a little like clip thing you just push out and they'll pull out, and then you take the hood off. And what I did is I taped the hood all right here. I recommend taping your whole hood, so when you take it off, take off all the tape, all the metal shavings will be on top. We didn't do that. We only taped the middle, and the metal shavings kind of got on the outsides all over here, and it was not fun cleaning it up. So what you do is you lay the tape down all the way across, and in the template you'll lay it out. Well, first you'll center it. You'll take a tape measure and you'll get like your center points on the hood, and then you will measure it, get all your center points, and then take your template and lay it down like how the instructions say. My cut came out a little weird. My template, for some reason, I followed the template exactly how it was, and it came out weird still. So I don't know what that is about. I could be because I have BMR motor mounts, and I've heard those can drop the motor up to a half an inch, even up to an inch. So that could have made it so it doesn't like fill out the hole, and I could have gone a little bit to the right with it. But other than that, it still looks like cleaner than I bet some people that have tried just cutting it, freehanding it. Once you get the cut, there's this stuff from AutoZone that's it's like car door trim. Mine, I haven't figured out. I got to get a way for it to stick. It's fine in all the other areas, but once you come down to like where these bends are and everything, I keep having issues of it popping off. So that, if you probably, someone told me to heat it up and then put it back on, so I'm going to try that next. Your hardest and most time-consuming parts are definitely going to be the stuff underneath the hood with like cutting. The rest of it's very simple. And then also, I forgot to mention, when you're cutting the hood, after you cut this, you need to cut underneath here. And underneath here, you can see, like, I haven't cleaned it up yet because I just finished it not too long ago, like a week ago. There's like very strong and body adhesive. You want to cut right here, and then you cut right back here, all the way to there. The same thing up this side, and that's it. You don't need to cut any more than you just cut this one right here off. And then this whole, like, there's like a metal piece right here, and it should just rip off. And where the intake tube goes in the throttle body, the Pro Charger one fits on mine because I have stock throttle body size. But if you're doing this on a Pro Charger and an NA car, you might need like an adapter coupler. I don't know exactly because I didn't have to run into any of those issues since I was stock throttle body. But I would check with that to make sure your piping fits onto there. And if it does, then you're all set. And if not, it's like a $30 or $40 coupler that you put on like right here, and it connects to like your tubing right there. And that should make it work. Other than that, that's basically about it. Like I said, for the evap solenoid, you don't have to use this. You can literally just turn it out and have it turned off by your tuner. And that's basically the high ram install. It's a lot easier than I thought it would be. Just once I got all the information and did it, I'm like, okay, this is actually a lot easier than it looked to be at first. So I just wanted to share this information with you guys. Hope it helps. You can leave any comments down below, and you can also, if you got any questions, you can message me on my Instagram at Toaks, which is TOAKSS, and I'll respond there. I'll try to help you with as much as I can. I don't have too much knowledge on it, but I got more than enough that worked for me to install it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you guys get your high ramps installed and this video helped you, since there really isn't much out there for them. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys next video.